Welcome back to the show, folks. This is the Upper Tier, the podcast we bring you each and every week. Joining me tonight for our Premier League preview, match week 19. I don't know whether to call it 16, 17, 18 or 19 at this stage with the way fixtures are going. Darren, how are we?
I'm all good, Noel. How are you, pal?
Not too bad at all. First of all, I'll say this is the match week where we're covering the festive period. Let's put it that way.
Festive. I like
festive
that.
Match week.
And since we're covering the festive period, I'd like to wish all our listeners a happy Christmas. And I'm going to have a pint of the black stuff for everybody. Enjoy.
Very nice. How's that lovely Leicester City crest going through the head of it? Anyway, let's get into this Premier League preview. As always, you can contact the show. We're on Twitter at @the_upper_tier. You'll get us on Facebook and Instagram, the Upper Tier. Audio version show on Spotify and Amazon Music. And if you'd like to email the show, the Upper Tier Podcast @gmail.com. There's the housekeeping done, nice and easy.
Or if you have a big pair of suitors and you'd like to speak to myself or Noel, you'll get us on 087.
You'll get us on Darren's OnlyFans page after this show for the Patreons. Anyway, let's get into this. Liverpool versus Leeds, gone. Leeds apparently called it off. There's been an outbreak there.
Was that in fear of getting their arses absolutely handed to them?
I think there was a massive fear that we might put the kids out again and there could be a problem.
After being beaten 3 or 4-0 by the kids, like.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Wolves and Watford is postponed as well. So we're starting to see. That was going to
be a shocking game of football, let's not forget.
Really?
Yeah. Shocking.
That was
the L Wolves goals have dried up at the minute, haven't they?
That was going to be both teams not to score. Burnley and Everton still alive anyway. What you're thinking on this one?
For now, because let's not forget that underside heating that Burnley plays havoc, doesn't it?
It does.
This is a big game, Noel. This is a big game for both sides. I was looking at this earlier and was thinking, I was trying to pick a winner and I was going, do you know what? This isn't straightforward at all. Sean Dyche needs to get a couple of results here. But does he need them more than Rafa does at the minute? I don't think so. I think he's probably got a little more goodwill in the tank than Rafa does at the minute. I think Everton need to win this game badly. I know their squad is still carrying injuries and they're getting fellas back and then someone else is dropping out and, it's Rafa's having a really tough time of it there at the minute at Goodison. I feel like this is going to be a tough day at the office for Everton. Everybody knows, Turf Moor, you may as well be going to Galatasaray. It's like hell on earth, isn't it? It's not a nice brand of football. It's not a nice stadium. They're not nice fans. I mean, most of them are related to each other. They're all inbred over there. So this is going to be an absolute dredge of a game for Everton. And I am putting Burnley down for the winner here. I'm going to say this is going to be 2-1 to Burnley.
Yeah, it's really it's a game of kind of fan expectation, really, isn't it? And the managing of fan expectation. I don't know. I find, sometimes when you think Everton are going to go in there and it's going to be a tough day at the office for them, they tend to pull something out of the bag. They did it against Arsenal.
They did, but they've struggled since, haven't they?
I'm going to go 2-1 to the Toffees.
And a Liverpool fan backing Everton away at Burnley.
Ooh. I didn't say I was backing them. I just said I'm going for 2-1 Everton. I didn't say I was going to bet on it.
Are you feeling in the festive spirit, Noel?
I'm feeling very festive. Yeah, so I'm feeling festive out towards Rafa.
You must be thinking your old pal Jordan Pickford with the little T-Rex arms is going to have a serious game here, is he?
I think he could have a handy game.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
Ooh, wow. So. The way Everton defend, my God, that's a shout.
Listen, has there been much of a difference between the two of them? In fairness, it's a flip of a coin, really, isn't it?
They've equally been as bad as each other, haven't they?
Absolutely. Let's move on. The next one, the Battle of the Cities. Man City versus Leicester City.
This could be a reasonable game.
It could.
Could be a reasonable game. Now, I have to say, City, I watched City last weekend and we spoke about it in the mashup, they almost bored me. They were that good. They just, went through the motions, retained possession, created chances. You were like, they kind of suffocated Newcastle a little bit, didn't they? Now I know, listen, Newcastle created a couple of chances, and you'd think with the likes of Vardy, Patson Daka, Tielemans, Madison, Leicester should be able to create a little bit more. And if they take one or two of those chances, it could give us a really good game. But I find it very, very hard to back against Man City at the minute. I think we'll see goals, but I think City will probably have enough to get over the line here. I'm going to say 3-1 City.
Spot on. That's exactly what I was thinking. 3-1 City.
Why? Thank you, kind sir.
Yeah, no, I just don't know about. I don't know what to make of Leicester this year. Do you? It's just like even looking at them last night against Liverpool. Like the one thing that I picked up on last night is that 4 days prior to that they postponed the game because of a massive COVID outbreak, and 4 days later they have a full squad.
And was it definitely down to them the game previous?
They were the ones who apparently had the outbreak.
Who did they play that day?
I don't know which game it was that was
called off.
I'm not too sure.
Was it Spurs?
Could have been. I'm not too sure which game was called off, but I know it's. I know.
At one stage, hadn't Rodgers kind of said, we asked for one and they didn't give it to us and bloody blah.
And then they gave him one.
And then they gave him one by the looks of it. And then he had a reasonable team out the other night, and he must have thought after 56, 60 minutes, job is done here, lads. This is a reasonable team.
A reasonable team. On Monday, he brought them all off to Lourdes, and they had the miraculous recovery, and they came back then. And the first team played last night against our kids. So I wouldn't say a reasonable team. I mean, they'd Vardy, Daka, Madison, Tielemans, and Didi, Casper Schmeichel. They'd everyone last night.
Can someone tell me where the lad Dewsbury Hall has come into this?
It is a cool name, though. It's a very cool name.
I don't know. If his name was Dewsbury Hall, as the double barrel thing's a bit, your mother and father don't like each other. I have a son with a double barrel name, so you can't really give me stick for that. But
I don't know though. I think it's kind of a cool name. It's like a kind of a hip hop artist's name or something, isn't it? Dewsbury Hall or something. Like you'd buy that CD, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
No. So we're both thinking 3-1 on this anyway. I
think this is going to be City 3-1.
City are too strong for them. I wouldn't mind if I seen a bit of a slip up, but next up, Norwich versus Arsenal.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough day at the office for Norwich, isn't it? These are the kind of games that Arsenal have been just going through in cruise control. I was looking earlier on. I've got 2 lives left in a fantasy football or in a last man standing competition. And I haven't used Arsenal in one of my lives, so I think I'm going to use Arsenal because I think Arsenal they're solid here, if I'm honest. Without being spectacular, let's say.
What was the last game we watched? What was the last game at Norwich where they played and they were very unlucky? Pookie had a couple of chances. Was it United?
Yeah,
they had a good game against United, created a few chances and just couldn't take them. They
ran into our friend David De Gea.
Yeah. So and now they're going to run into Ramsdale,
who has been one of the most informed players in the Premier League this year. The kid has been absolutely unbelievable, sensational since his move from Sheffield United. Yeah,
they were absolutely, and I mean Arsenal as well. They were absolutely fantastic against. I know it was Sunderland the other night in the Carabao Cup, but I mean they looked really, really good, didn't they? In fairness.
Yeah, and I mean, we know that they like to play a nice brand of football. I suppose with Arsenal, the thing is, A, they're going to be beaten by all the reasonably good teams, but B, if you can tap into the the kind of football and the style they're trying to play, and if you can put that best foot forward, they will put good performances in, and they've got a good brand about them. And we talked about that really youthful squad with an awful lot of potential and talent in it,
Yeah, we often get a dodgy result though, don't we, on a St. Stephen's Day? I'll preface that first of all by saying for our UK viewers, That's the same as Boxing Day. We call it St. Stephen's Day here, not
Yeah.
Boxing Day.
Yeah.
Is there a thing here? Could you see a draw?
Listen, would it shock me? Certainly not. Because I think Norwich have become a little more resilient and a little more dogged under Dean Smith. But for me, it's Arsenal. I'm gonna say 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Arsenal as well. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt at the moment, and I'm going to go 2-1. I think Pookie might get a goal in a St. Stephen's Day goal, but I think Arsenal will be in control of the game, even though it'll finish tied at 2-1. But I still think Arsenal they'll be in control.
Mm-hmm.
Next up one is an interesting one for our friend Antonio Conte. Tottenham versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah, they've ticked along nicely, Spurs, haven't they, under Conte? Certainly in the league. I know in Europe and stuff like that, he's kind of experimented a little bit with the team, hasn't he? But I think in the league, he's, you can kind of see what's starting to arise here. They're becoming a little bit more efficient at the back. They're taking care of the ball a little bit better and stuff like that as well in tighter areas, and they're really trying to play on that counter attack, aren't they? Certainly last week against Liverpool, there was times in that game they just looked unbelievable. Probably didn't get the result they were after, or even the result they deserved based on the all-round play and stuff like that over the 90 minutes. But yeah, they're definitely on the up under Conte, aren't they? I
think so. Yeah, there's a what would you call it? There's a pattern to what they do now. There's a plan. They're going out with a plan for each of these games. I would also like to make the point Mystic D was in the house again on the Monday mashup. Apparently they are having plans to appeal getting thrown out of Europe. So we call that on the Monday mashup. If our viewers haven't watched it yet, it's up there on the network.
You hear it here first, Noel. No need to wait for Sky Sports News to put it on the yellow tab. You hear it here first.
We'll have to get you your own ticker bar at the bottom, won't we?
Absolutely. I want a pink one with black writing on it. Yeah, that's what I want.
What are you going for in this one?
I can't see past Spurs here, and I think with Kane getting back in the score sheet and stuff like that. Last weekend, obviously he scored and he was unlucky early on. It was a good save from Alisson and stuff like that very early on. I think this is Spurs. I think we'll have Spurs 3-1.
I'm going to go for a draw because Palace have been scoring a few goals, haven't they? Even Ayew got a goal last weekend, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a long time since he got one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he must be back in form a little bit as well. And Sahar looked decent last weekend as well, didn't he?
I think the last time he got when Jesus was wearing Jordan 1s, wasn't he?
Still is.
Yeah.
Some trends never change. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
You think there'll only be 2 goals in that game?
I do, yeah. I do.
Wow.
Because you've got Conte there, who's kind of a bit of a
could be a very good game, by the way. Zaha, Conor Gallagher, Ayew, Oddison Edwards, the two boys, my two lads that haven't really seen game time yet. The boy Michael Elise and Eberechi Eze, 2 super footballers, by the way. Maybe when Wilf heads off to the African Cup of Nations, we might get to see these 2 lads playing on the right and the left, maybe flanking somebody like Oddison Edward. This could be real excitement, so hold on to your hats, lads. You'll be impressed with these 2 kids.
The final 3:00, West Ham versus Southampton.
Yeah, West Ham have hit the skids a little bit recently, haven't they?
Tough trip as well, though, for the governor, yeah?
Our boy Ralph. We like the old Ralphs, don't we?
We do.
Very tough trip. Although, in saying that, they had a big win, didn't they?
Yeah.
They had a big win. And we only spoke about it. And we talked about it on the preview, if I'm right. We talked about, I think you might have mentioned that yourself and said, when you're looking at it, you're like, James Ward-Prowse, I'm always looking and thinking, can this kid do something? And he did.
Yeah.
And he did, really big result for them. Southampton are one of those teams that, weren't they, when they get that big result and you just think they'll kick on, they just kind of go belly up again, don't they? Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
They fall back to earth.
They really do, you know. Yeah, I think this will be tough for them, for Southampton, if I'm honest. I'm going to go 2-1.
West Ham.
2-1 West Ham. I think West Ham, you know, I know they're without Mikel Antonio, but I think West Ham, it's a big game for West Ham. They've gone on the skids recently, but I think they're going to just get over the line. I think we might see a little goal scoring return from another guy I'm a big fan of, Thomas Souček. Really? With a little header.
Nice, big call. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
I think Southampton will be buoyed by the win, and I think West Ham could be a little tired from their endeavours in the Carabao Cup. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay.
The 5:30 game. The games come thick and fast, don't they? Stephen's Day is great. Aston Villa versus Chelsea. This is a big one for Tuchel now, isn't it?
This is a very big one for our friend Thomas. Chelsea, again, another team that have hit the skids in recent weeks, found it very, very hard to score goals, haven't they? You know, and I mean, at the start of the season, it was something that a lot of people kind of took for granted. You know, Chelsea, they've a lot of goals in them. Tell that to the Chelsea fans now, because at the minute, they look very, very light up front, you know. I suppose the boys, you know, you've got Pulisic, you've got CH, you've got Hudson-Odoi, you know, lads like that who are maybe involved, but maybe not hitting all their straps at the minute. You've got Timo Werner and Romelu Lukaku, who neither of them have really found their rhythm yet, have they? You've seen patches of it, and you've seen moments of it where you thought maybe this is going to be the little bit of a flicker that lights the touch paper, but it just kind of hasn't happened for them, really, has it? Now, this is a busy period. This could be big for somebody if they could start scoring goals. You know, if you look at a Lukaku and stuff like that, if he could score, you know, against Villa and then start to go on a little run, it's something he could build confidence, because the games are nice and thick and fast, aren't they?
Big games coming up, but they have us the day after New Year's Day. And then I think they have City shortly after that as well, don't they?
Is that the last day you have your AFCON boys?
Assuming the AFCON goes ahead, yeah.
Which we have question marks about, don't we?
Just 1 or 2.
Or 12. I'm still waiting on the air raid siren to go off like 20 minutes before the first match and go, cancel it, everybody go home, quick.
Bunker down.
What
quick.
The hell?
Yeah.
What's going on here, you know?
Yeah. What did you make of Chelsea in the Carabao Cup? I mean, they made hard work of Brentford. I know they ran out, I think it was 2-0 winners or something like that, but they took their time to get there. It was a hard night.
They didn't really have a full-strength team out, did they? They
didn't. But they did roll out a number of the boys to make the difference.
There was quite a few names on the team sheet when I read it. I went, who? Yeah. And now, in fairness, typically I would know a lot of the players around the fringes of teams. I'd be quite good with stuff like that. But when I saw a couple of names, I was like, whoa, we're in trouble here, you know?
This was even deeper. This was deeper than our knowledge even.
He was going real deep with this. This was, you know, Chelsea 3rd / 4th in some positions. You know, didn't work out for all the boys that got a look in, by the way. I know one of them got the S-hook after 40 minutes or 45 minutes, didn't he? The boy that played up front with the double barrel name, something Bell. He got a bang of the bell at half time, I think, he pulled him off. But yeah, listen, it's not a bad victory, to be honest. You've got a lot of injuries, you got COVID, you got bits and pieces going on. You're away from home in the quarterfinals of the Cup, and you go out 2-0 winners against Brentford. It was a tough game, but I think they'll be happy with the result and just get moving. You know,
I think you have a lot going on there at the moment as well, outside of all that as well, haven't you? Because I mean,
there's a lot going on in Tuchel's head.
Yeah, but you've a lot of chess stuff going on there at the moment as well, with the likes of Christensen and Rudiger and lads like this, creating a bit of upheaval. And then a lot of noise coming out of Stamford Bridge that they're going to be signing Koundé and a couple of other players and stuff like that. In other words, the likes of Rudiger and that can head off because we're bringing in these boys and you're not going to hold us over a barrel type of thing. So it's an interesting time at Chelsea and a very interesting time in terms of Tuchel and his management of those situations. And then on top of that, we have injuries, and on top of that, we have strikers that aren't firing on all cylinders, and on top of that, we have COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's a huge conundrum at Chelsea at the minute. If I look at where things were over the last few weeks or months even, Chelsea always seem to be on that kind of upward curve. And if I look at them, in parallels with my own team, with United, they always seem to be on the way up and we always seem to be on the way down,
Yeah.
And the tide has just turned ever so slightly recently.
Yeah.
Ever so slightly.
Yeah, you're kind of looking at, how would I put it? Not to upset our Chelsea viewers. Are you looking at a top four race as opposed to a title race? Kind of.
Possibly. Now, listen, I know what Chelsea fans will say, and I'm not diminishing, the injuries they have and stuff like that. Absolutely not. However, they have had guys on the pitch as well, and they're struggling for goals. They really are.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows. After that, maybe goalkeeper and defence and those kind of defensive midfielders, Jorginho and Kante and Kovacic, those lads. I don't think he knows what his absolute best is in that front 3 or 4 positions. I think you're probably going to give one to Mount. I think you're probably, on the basis of what you paid for him, you're going to give one to Lukaku. And I think the other 2 spots are kind of up for grabs and nobody's grabbing them between Pulisic, Havertz, Werner, Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, and there's a lot going on.
There's a kind of confusion between those 5, isn't there? Like, it's like as if match day, they're not too sure who's going to be in the team. And it's kind of like...
Or what their job is.
Which is to put the ball in the back of the net, which is what they have not doing at the
well,
moment.
I mean, like, even to look like look like there's a pattern, as you said earlier on with Spurs, like there's a pattern to your play, like tactically you're trying to achieve something. Like I look at them at times and they just look a little bit lost when you get into that final third of the pitch. Everything starts to slow down a little bit. And I think if you look at a lot of the better sides, for me, again, the 2 best teams in the league right now are Liverpool and Man City. And they can kind of knock the ball around here and there. And when it gets into that final third, that's when they increase the pace of the pass. And that's where everything's just a little bit sharper, meaning teams have to be super switched on or they're going to give away something, they're going to concede. And that's where the pace, and that's something which I found with United over the last little while. The holding on to the ball and the ball retention was okay. We were having 60, 65, 70% of possession. We couldn't break teams down because when we got to the last third of the pitch, everything was too slow and guys wanted to take too many touches and it wasn't 1-2s and it wasn't giving goals and it wasn't little balls around and that's something I think that the Chelsea need to be kind of focusing on for me, is that final third of the pitch and just making things a little bit sharper,
Yeah, kind of maintaining that pace, if you like, and to cut teams open rather than, we know in the Premier League, so many teams in the Premier League, given the time, can organise themselves very good into 2 banks of 4.
Yeah.
And they do it week in, week out, especially teams in the lower half of the division. They know how to do it. Not
necessarily very good football teams, but just very well organised teams, Like if you look at a team like West Ham, and we've thrown lots of plaudits at a team like West Ham. West Ham are exactly what you've talked about. They're resilient, they're resolute, they're efficient, they're dogged. Tactically, they know how to get behind the ball and block stuff off and make the areas tighter and smaller and really make the game difficult and try and keep teams playing in front of them rather than behind them,
Yeah.
And that's coming from Moyes, obviously, but that's the type of thing that's stung the likes of Chelsea recently,
Yeah, he did it for years at Everton as well.
He did, absolutely did.
On the flip side of that, Aston Villa, Gerrard doing a very good job.
Doing a great job. But it's only City and Liverpool that have beat them so far, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
City and Liverpool. So. They're rolling along nicely. Confidence is high. They're getting the boy Watkins is starting to come back to himself. I know he started the season with an injury, so he's a little bit behind.
Yeah.
But I've got him in my fantasy team last week, goal, assist, got all the 3 points, the bonus and stuff like that. So he's really starting to tick over. I really, really like the boy Watkins, I have to say. I did think it was a strange move. Not that I thought it wasn't a very good move, because I'm a massive fan of Danny Ings. But I did kind of wonder how you're going to get two guys who want to play down the middle into your team without maybe, hurting one of them. And it seems at the minute as if Stevie has gone, well, Watkins is bringing us a little more than Ings is, and I can rely on him a bit more because he's not made of glass, and he's my number one and Ings is going to be my number two. Now, is that something Ings wants? I don't know. Hasn't he? I know he's come from Southampton. He was main man there. He was first name on the team sheet every week. And I don't get that. I don't get that at Villa. I don't think he's, first name.
He's been out for a good few weeks with an injury as well, so he's only coming back.
He has, yeah. He has.
What you thinking on this one?
I think I'm going to go score draw. Let's go 2-2.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Exactly.
Was it really?
Yeah, high score draw. Yeah, high score.
Yeah, draw. I think 2-2. I think this will be a decent game.
Yeah.
I think Villa will put a much better foot forward than they did against Liverpool.
Chelsea can probably ill afford to drop more points, though, can they? I mean, they can
if you're a United fan.
Yeah, but this is where I'm talking about being in a title race and being in a top four race, because the risk is if they keep on coming off the boil, like if they were to drop these points to Villa and then they were to drop points to us on January the 2nd.
I like to say controversial things, right?
Go on.
I would say at the minute,
yeah,
at the minute, you have a better chance of Spurs being in a title race than Chelsea.
That one's going to cut deep.
They're not a million miles behind Chelsea. They've certainly 2, possibly 3 games in hand. And they're a team starting to hit their straps and looking like they know what they're trying to do under tactically a very, very good coach. We know what this guy has done everywhere he's been. Now, we also know about the issues with longevity. However, right now, Spurs, with a Harry Kane that might just be coming to the boil, look like they're going in a completely different direction than this Chelsea side.
And not too far off from facing each other in a semi-final of a Carabao Cup.
Right.
Which should be interesting, shouldn't it?
Right, absolutely.
We round off St. Stephen's Day / Boxing Day with the 8 o'clock kickoff, which is an unusual one, isn't it? Brighton versus Brentford.
This our old pal Graham Potter.
Yeah.
This is going to be Brighton getting back to winning ways, I think.
Really?
This is I'm nailing me flag to the mast nice and early here. This is our boy Graham Potter. He's had a few weeks off here with COVID and stuff going on, yeah?
Some would say he's had 10 weeks off.
Right, he's picked up a lot of draws, hasn't he?
He has, but he's, what is it, no wins and 9?
Yeah, but I mean, he's drawn, how many of those games he drawn?
Yeah,
6 or 7?
Yeah, but no, I don't think he's drawn that many.
Oh, he's definitely had a serious amount of draws.
He has had a few, all right, but he's dropped a few clangers as well.
He has, and they're going through, a tough period, but I think Brighton get back on the horse, so to speak, on Boxing Day. I think Brighton will get what they need out of this from Brentford, I have to say. I think Brentford have had good and bad games recently, we've seen the good side of them, we've seen the bad side of them. I think our boy Ivan Toney is I know he's been injured or he had COVID or whatever was going on, but he hasn't really, done exactly what we thought he would have done this season. He's Scored, then he's gone missing, and then he scored.
Started out very well.
Started out well, but levelled off very quickly, didn't he?
Yeah.
How many league goals has he got at this stage? Has he got 5? He might just have 5 in 19.
Maybe, yeah.
Might just have 5 in 19 games. Like, that's 1 in 4. You know, you're going to be really, really good. You want to be certainly at 1 in 3. And then if you're going to be any better than that, you want 1 in 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But listen, I think this is Brighton with a lot of guys back and maybe a lot of rest under their belt. Really, you know, looking fresh and looking at it. And another lad I'm a fan of, the boy Robert Sanchez in goal there at Brighton. I think he'll have a good game against Brentford, and I think Brighton will do them up like Kipper 2-0.
Yeah, I'm thinking a Brighton win, but I think it might be a bit tighter. I'm thinking 2-1.
Okay.
Thinking 2-1, but I do think Brighton. I mean, God, they got to get back to winning ways, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, when you think about it, the last performance of note that they've put in was the game against Liverpool at Anfield. How long ago was that? Like, you know, that was October.
That's a while ago. Yeah, it is a while ago.
So
and I mean, they were so unlucky not to get the win there. That was an unbelievable performance by Alisson.
And you're talking about their draws as well. I mean, a lot of those draws have been 92nd minute draws.
I feel like they've got Ryan Tubridy on speed dial because there's been a lot of the late show at Brighton, hasn't there?
100%.
Yeah, 90. I kind of feel like every weekend when I'm looking to have a bet, you know, I'm kind of going, right, well, Brighton are a nail on for a draw, so I can stick that in there, and I can stick it in for both teams to score because they always just seem to nick one right at the last, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to Monday Night Football, 8:00 up at St James's, the new Lamborghini Stadium. Not yet though.
Not yet.
Newcastle United versus Manchester United.
Yeah, looking forward to it, if I'm honest. Looking forward to it. I'm gonna sit on the couch with a couple of those dark ones, and a
tin of chocolate Kimberley.
And wouldn't be my cup of tea now. No, you'd sooner find me with a bag of, you know, O'Donnell's crisps or something like that.
Scots Clan.
The whole Scots Clan weren't mine. They were just resting in my account.
They were yours in the end.
I'm a bag of crisps going to go in a packet of nuts, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's going to be a tough game for United. I do think we'll get the win, but I don't think we'll make it look as convincing as, say, City did last weekend. You know,
you're due to give a team a pasting, though, aren't you?
We've looked a little bit better in recent weeks, but we haven't just clicked. You know, it's something we're trying to do. We're trying to go more direct. We're trying to get the ball in around that back four, get teams torn, win the ball back. And yeah, we could absolutely, you know, catch fire. And if we do, you're right, we'll absolutely savage somebody. Will it be Newcastle? They'd be very unlucky if it was, wouldn't they? But stranger things, you know. We've had mixed results up there over the years. We've had some big performances up in Newcastle, had some great wins, and also took, you know, a couple of heavy defeats as well and stuff like that. You know, so yeah, this won't be easy, but I think we'll do it, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say we're gonna have a little bit more conviction than we have in recent weeks. And I think our boy Cristiano will be I think he'll be big in the game, let's say, against Newcastle. I think these are the kinds of teams he eats up, you know, as he did at Old Trafford. And I'm going to say this is 3-1 to United.
Okay. Interesting. We move on to Tuesday.
Are you going to tell us what your pick was, Noel? Or?
Oh, sorry. I agreed with John United. Yeah, I'm thinking 2-0. 2-0 United.
Another clean sheet. Stop that, Noel, will you? Stop that.
I think so. They seem to be happening now, you know what I mean? And like, you'd be kind of disappointed if you didn't leave with a clean sheet against Newcastle, wouldn't you? If you're a defender.
And I think, I don't want to say this too loudly because people might get excited. I think Rafael Varane is back.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you go as far as to put a goal on Fred?
No.
Just for our TikTok viewers. They'll be disappointed if you don't.
I won't put the goal on Fred. I'm definitely going to put the goal on Cristiano. And I'm going to put a goal on Marcus Rashford. I'll give you 2.
Our TikTok viewers are going to be very disappointed now. Our TikTok viewers have been very vocal of your love for our boy Fred.
What a hero he is. I did think about getting Fred on the back of the Young Flies jersey, though. Yeah. You know? And then I thought, I don't want him to get bullied in first class. It's just not cool.
Or you realise now it's a set price. They don't charge per letter anymore, was it? Then it rolls around Tuesday. We've a full complement of fixtures again as it stands.
And listen, there's a few people not very happy with these Tuesday games, Will.
True.
Your friend Mr. Klopp is not a big fan of these Tuesday games. I mean, why can't we play the games on the 29th? Well, like the 28th, it's not a game day.
Well, the thing about it now is with the Leeds game being called off, he's going to get plenty of rest for his team, so he'll have nothing to moan about.
He loves a whinge, doesn't he?
He
loves a whinge. Oh my God, he loves a whinge.
Would you call it a whinge or would you call it just being direct?
No. It's a whinge because he has a track record of it. He whinges at everything. I wait and bated breath every week for him to have the row with Jeff Shreves because Jeff asked him a question that he doesn't like and he's spiky as funk.
Doesn't like Jeff.
He does not like Jeff.
Does not like Jeff.
And Jeff's big in the game. Like he's a good boy, our Jeff.
And he loves all the referees, but he doesn't like Paul Tierney.
He does quite a few referees and reporters he does not like. He is bitter. Our boy Jurgen, he really is.
Some would call it psychology.
Right. Some would call it cuntism.
Fergie made a career of it, didn't he? At a very similar level.
Did he? I don't know if he was as whingy as Klopp is.
Oh, I don't know about that now. He complained about a lot of stuff down through the years. Anyway, let's get into these Tuesday fixtures. Arsenal Tuesday. Arsenal versus Wolves.
Yeah, Arsenal versus Wolves. Again, this should be the type of game that Arsenal are safe in. However, I don't think it will be. I think Wolves are going to give Arsenal a good game in that game, I have to say. I know they'll have the boy Jimenez back and stuff like that. And I think Wolves will cause Arsenal a little bit of grief that night. I think Arsenal might struggle to break them down a little bit. I think Wolves are going to try and go real high and pick them off. And I think I'm going to say this is going to be a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, score draw. I think Arsenal are going to beat them.
That throws Arsenal right up there if they beat Norwich and Wolves.
And I think Arsenal know that. I'm going to go 2-1.
Maybe that's why I think they'll shit the bed.
No, I don't think so. I think there's a kind of a feeling coming out of the Arsenal camp now with some of the nonsense being pushed to the side now, and now it's kind of they're in this kind of camp or this kind of bubble now where it's us versus everyone else.
Yeah,
and I think when teams are like that as well, and they're taking it in that kind of stage and game by game and stuff like that, you can go on a bit of a run and be fairly successful. And I think Arsenal, they're seeing themselves now. They're up there. They're in fourth. You know, they've a great opportunity now. They've put themselves right back in there.
Fourth this season would be huge for Mikel Arteta.
He'd be getting a statue, wouldn't he, outside the ground nearly?
Huge. Oh my God. Imagine 4 for Arsenal. Jesus.
Yeah.
That'd be big because that would mean 2 of Chelsea, Spurs and United would have missed out. Because City and Liverpool are nailed on.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This top 4, top 3 race is a very interesting conundrum at the moment with Chelsea, and they need to figure it out really quick.
Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, United are going to be fighting for 2 spots, aren't they?
Sounds like it, doesn't it?
I think so. I do. Now, listen, I think Chelsea have a great chance of, securing that third spot. And then it means it's United, Spurs and Arsenal dogfighting for that fourth spot, which is not a dogfight I want to be involved in, if I'm honest.
No.
But is there a possibility that lightning could strike again? And we could, somebody could change a manager halfway through the season and win a Champions League and rob a spot. Oh.
Jesus, imagine.
Oh. Imagine Arsenal or Spurs finished in fourth and United won the Champions League. Imagine.
Yeah. Interesting.
As you can tell, I've been drinking tonight.
You have. And probably a bit too much.
You should always drink responsibly. This is my first can of Guinness. I'm just throwing it out there in case anyone thinks this bloke's had quite a few of these.
The first one is always responsible.
The first cut is the deepest.
That's it. Next up, Palace versus Norwich.
Yeah, I'll be all over Palace in this, I have to say. Any place I see Norwich, I'll kind of think opposition, and Palace will probably be back at home and looking for a bit of form after maybe a defeat against City. Is that no against Spurs, right?
Yeah.
I'm going in for Palace here. I'm going scruffy. I'm going difficult, dogged, resilient from Norwich, but I'm going 2-1 Palace.
2-1 Palace.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's spot on. Southampton versus Spurs. Another tough one for the governor.
This is the Spurs juggernaut, and it's just going to keep moving. Complete with sound effects. This is going to be food and drink for Antonio Conte. I have to say, this is where maybe our fancy football listeners will go, "Ooh, Harry Kane, captain." Yeah. Especially if he nicks one against Palace and he's got 2-2, and then he's going to St. Mary's to play Southampton, who at times look like they defend like a Sunday league side. Only for Alex McCarthy and goal, I have to say, they've conceded a hell of a lot more. He's had a really good season at Southampton, I have to say.
Absolutely. I'm thinking Spurs as well, probably 3-1.
4-1 Spurs.
3-1, 4-1, yeah. Up next, Watford versus West Ham.
Yeah, Watford versus West Ham. This would be a much tougher game for West Ham. I don't think West Ham like to play against teams that, really want to have a go at them. I think I expect Watford to get on the score sheet that day, I have to be honest with you. Again, maybe having a little break and stuff like that. You've got the boy Emmanuel Dennis there and Joshua King. I know Sarr won't be back at that stage, but I think Watford will give West Ham a really good game that day. And I think I might even side with Watford. I think I might even say 2-1 Watford.
I'm thinking a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Okay.
Yeah. I'm looking at West Ham and the form that they're in at the moment, and the minute I see their name, I think draw.
Okay.
The 5:30 then is Leeds versus Aston Villa. Again, I don't know whether that's going to go ahead because obviously the Liverpool game has been called off. Leeds, so it may take them a number of days before they can get players back and figure out and do more testing and all that kind of stuff. But we'll assume for the purposes of this that it goes ahead.
And if we're assuming it's going ahead, we're assuming this is going to be an Aston Villa win.
100%. 100%. This
absolutely. Yeah. Leeds are another one of those teams that I look at and just think, who are they playing this weekend? Opposition. They're struggling, really, really are. I expect Leeds and Norwich both to get relegated this year. Plus another.
How long do you expect them to stick with Marcello?
Listen, COVID's obviously come to his aid, hasn't it, at this stage? If they lose their next couple of games, I think they're going to have to make a decision, because when that window opens up in January, you need to know who you've got at the helm. Have they got any money to spend? Can they make some signings? Can they shake things up a bit? And can they get enough points to get you safe at the end of the season? I think if you make a change after the window closes, you're really tying your manager's hands, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I think sometime between Christmas and the New Year,
Yeah,
the axe
you would
could
have thought
fall.
you would have thought the next 3 games, but like some of them obviously aren't being played, so it's hard to judge it really, but they're gonna have to make a decision. Plus the fact if they're not playing games and other teams around them are playing and they move above them, you're heaping more pressure on there, even though you might have games in hand. Games in hand doesn't necessarily
don't want games in
translate into
hand. You
points,
want
not for the
results,
likes of
points on the
Leeds.
board. Yeah, absolutely.
The 8 o'clock game, which is a tantalising one on the back of the Carabao Cup tie, Leicester entertaining Liverpool in the league.
This will be Leicester looking for some revenge, won't it? You didn't seem too sure about that. Well, if you were 3-1 up away from home, playing the third team, and you had started to book coaches for the semi-final trip, and they turned it around, and all of a sudden, that keeper made a couple of saves and the penalties, and you ended up getting dumped down your ear, would you not want a little bit of revenge? I think you would. I'm not necessarily saying they're going to get it, but I think they'll be really, really pushing to for a bit of revenge come that game at the King Power. Again, I think there'll be goals, because I think at the minute Leicester know how to score, but unfortunately they're not sure how to keep things tight at the back. I think there'll be goals here, and I think you know what? I think I'll go score draw again. I'll go 2-2.
I'm going to go for a Liverpool win 3-1. I think at that stage they'll have all the heavy hitters back, and I think they'll be chomping at the bit after not being playing. The likes of Van Dijk, Fabinho.
They may, or, guys have been sluggish to get back after COVID as well, don't forget. Depending on how bad your case, your symptoms are, it can take a couple of weeks to get back to normal, Did you have it there to COVID, Niall?
I think no. I think listening to Pep Linders the other day in the press conference for the Carabao Cup, he was talking about the effect, in terms of health and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And his point that he made was most of them, if not all of them, we know, I think Liverpool in the league has the highest vaccination rate or something like that. It's up around the 98, 99 area or something like that. And most of them have even had boosters and everything at this stage. But I think Pep Linders was making the point that a lot of them are at home isolating, but they haven't had any major health effects from it and stuff like that. They're literally just isolating at home, but they seem fine. So that's good news there. But I think I was
going to say it's good for them, I had COVID last January. I got a smashing belt of it, and it knocked me for 6.
Yeah,
really, really did. It was weeks before I felt normal again, and that was even, I think 4 weeks down the line, 5 weeks down the line, I was still talking to my doctor and saying, Jesus, I feel A, B, C, and D, and she was like, well, it's possibly something to do with the COVID you had 5 weeks ago. And we're not going to turn it into a COVID show, but it's possible that they might not be all hitting their straps right away,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And then we move on to Wednesday. Just 2 final ties in this Premier League preview. Chelsea versus Brighton.
That's going to be a tough night for Chelsea again. Another tough night at the office for Chelsea. Brighton are going to be on the back of a win from Boxing Day, as they call it. And Brighton will have their tails up again. They'll probably be plucky, They're going to lose a couple of players soon enough, Brighton as well, aren't they? The boys will want to go out on a high before they leave the building. This could be tough for Chelsea. I think they might nick it, but I think it'll be the late show, and I think it'll be 2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it'll be a tight one. The one thing about Potter's Brighton is they rarely get slapped up. You know what I mean? The games are generally tight.
City was the big letdown for me, because they were in really good form, and you kind of thought, wow, this is going to be such a great game. And they got the absolute back doors kicked in off them, and you're just like, what happened there? because it was so un-Brighton-like, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like they nearly froze at the occasion, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And just
absolutely.
let City do their thing. And then we round out then Brentford versus City.
Brentford versus City. Yeah, you can only see this going one way, can't you?
This is cricket numbers, isn't it?
Well, I don't think it's cricket numbers, but I certainly think there'll be 3 anyway. I certainly think there'll be 3. If we said Brighton got on, or if we said Brentford got on the score sheet, I think 3-1 City.
I'm thinking either 4 or 5, and I'm thinking to nil. I don't think Brentford are going on the score sheet. I'm thinking 4 or 5-0.
They gave a couple of chances away to Newcastle. City, they're not impenetrable, is all I'll say.
Yeah. You'd wonder are they nearly doing it out of boredom, as you said the other day.
At times, it looked like stuff. Newcastle were creating stuff off the back of the City lads just being mind-numbingly bored and going, well, we head to the shop and get chicken fillet rolls. And then the other lad went, yeah, fuck it, let's.
Yeah.
Where the 2 centre-backs, though? It would be grand. The lads look after till they were back, and they did. And it was just like, it was a tough watch, I have to say. Really, really was.
Absolutely. I think this could be very similar. I think this has the ability to be the kind of game that could be dead and buried in 25 minutes.
Well, here's the 2 things I'll tell you, though. Here's the difference. You have to know with Thomas Frank team, with the energy that they bring and with the passion that they bring, won't get tickled the way Newcastle did. Plus, that Brentford pitch is not conducive to good, fast-paced, possession-based football. It's a little bit cabbage patchy at times. So you're going to have to try and find a way out of that as well. So I think that might hamper them slightly.
They'll figure that out, no problem. Yeah. Well, this has been your Premier League preview for match week festive period.
I like that idea. Match week festive period.
Festive period.
Good, solid effort.
Let us know your comments on the episode. Let us know what you think and what your picks are. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on as always. And as we said earlier, we wish all our viewers, subscribers, those who drop likes and comments and shares and everything, a very Merry Christmas. Have a very safe one. Keep safe. Enjoy your time with your family. And
what's on your Santa list, Niall?
My Santa list is, I don't know. I don't really put a list together. And you know something? I'm actually not a big present guy in terms of getting them. I'm a big present guy in terms of giving them. So what comes back to me comes back to me. I'm not really that bothered. I'm sure there'll be a few figures and a few collectibles and stuff like that. There is a Jimmy Mouth of the South heart jacket coming, signed and started by him. Whether it comes in time for Christmas, I'm not too sure. And there's a new pair of football boots on the way, believe it or not. Yeah. New pair of football boots. Yeah. New pair
of hush puppies.
New pair of football boots for the second half of the season where we're going to make a run at it.
I like it. I like it.
So that's all. I'm a man of simple means.
Very nice.
What's on Dazzler's Santa list? Where do we begin?
I'm not a man of simple means, man.
I wouldn't have thought so. That's why you asked. You led me into this, didn't you?
She has to really pull it out of the bag now, I have to say. I've been known to throw an Elf Stropper a tantrum on Christmas Day.
So what was on the list this year? Was there a list given over, or is it blindsided?
Nah, there was a few bits on a list, yeah. There was a couple of little purchases and stuff like that. It was maybe a push or a gentle shove into the right direction and stuff like that, Okay. But yeah, I think I'm all right. I think she's done all right this year. I was not a happy man last year. Well,
just for our viewers, we will have a live webcam in Darren's front room as he comes down Christmas morning. So you will get to witness that strop live.
We had a strop last Christmas Day. Darren had absolutely 112% talked up the fact he was getting a PS5.
Yeah.
Christmas morning came.
And you had a Commodore 64.
No PS5.
Just a controller.
There was a mega strop. Mega. I'll tell you what got me out of the strop. And it wasn't something that happened on Christmas Day, by the way. So I stropped all Christmas Day. Toys were out of the pram, stamping the feet, dragging the heels like an absolute degenerate child.
Many Guinness were digested on your own that day.
No, I don't even think. I just went, no, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's grand. Yeah, no. And it was actually, do you know what got me out of the strop? Stevens' day, we went over to see my parents. We were there for dinner and stuff like that. Had dinner. Parents would be a bit funny about things. They'd be like, can't have your presents till after dinner. All right, yeah, okay. So
proper parenting 101.
Go and have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can have your presents now. So start boxing off the kids and everything's hunky dory and blah blah blah. And my dad said, going into the front room there, there's a box there under the tree for you. All right, grand. Large boxes don't usually happen at my age, I was thinking, large box under the tree, this is a bit sketchy. And I opened it up, and it was the Lego Old Trafford.
Oh yeah. The stadium.
Stadium.
Bit of work on that.
I haven't made it yet.
You still haven't made it.
Still haven't made it. I've made a promise myself. I'm gonna make it over my time off this year. And we had an anniversary a few weeks ago, and my wife bought me the acrylic box that goes over the top of it.
Yeah.
And the lighting system, the Lego brick lights to light the whole thing up. Awesome. So we might have a little video coming up for our collector's corner, maybe, or something like that. And we'll have a little look into Old Trafford with our stadium lights and all,
Be cool if you could do one of those little time lapse things, where you make a little video of your progress through it, and then we just snip them all together.
You see, the only problem with that is, Noel, when it comes to technology, I'm an absolute window licker.
Yeah, all you do is put your phone on a stand and you press record.
Okay, I'll try.
I'll send you the step-by-step of it after the show. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, listen. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to yourself and all the family and the extended family, and of course to all our family out there in the upper tier community. Have a safe Christmas. We will talk to you again before the new year, no doubt. Some great news coming up very soon. And we'll have a little Christmas wish coming out tomorrow on video for all our viewers. Until next time, my friend, a pleasure.
Thanks, brother.